Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy, Ruther, and Joel Praino. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Praino.
Hello, Andy.
Good afternoon, Joseph.
Good afternoon to you too, sir.
On this fine, glorious April 6th, 2023. Timestamp it.
It's stamped. I don't know what are we doing here?
Just in case like the world comes to an end.
Okay.
Although I guess this wouldn't exist. Right?
We have found relics of the past world. It is a podcast called Dirty Sports with Andy Ruther and Joe Praino.
What does this thing they talk about with no chill?
What is a no chill Praino?
You think dragons ever existed?
The one boy was wearing a relic of a hat with a small dog wielding a bone. I believe that they may have been the characters which you needed to avoid, for they are trolling the land, hurting people with their bone sticks.
I cut you off. I was trying to talk about dragons.
Yeah. Do I think dragons ever existed? Dinosaurs?
But like no dinosaurs ever blew fire, did they?
I don't know. I have no clue.
I bring this up again. House of Dragon. Got me wondering again.
Yeah.
Was wondering.
I'm assuming no dragon blew fire because what does that look like? The fire-breathing dragon thing has always been a very suspicious fairy tale concept. So is there just like a pilot light in the back of their throat, and then their breath is some sort of butane? Like they just have a constant spark.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ready to ignite their flammable belly breath. I don't like.
I'm going on a deep dive after the show.
Okay.
I'm going on a deep dive. If that could physically or physiologically be possible.
I don't think the dive has to be all that deep, Andy. I think this is like diving into a thimble. The answer is no. I don't think that somebody could have a pilot light in the back of their throat for igniting their breath into a flamethrower.
I want it to happen, though.
Okay.
I want to make it happen. Like the dinosaurs could spit, like if animals can spit venom out.
Okay.
I guess that's different, though.
Sure.
I swear I didn't smoke any weed before the show.
Okay.
For the record.
Are you just like baby tired? Is that what's going on here? Are you just?
No, I'm actually not too baby tired.
Okay.
I'm just think I just finished House of Dragon in the last week, and I've just been thinking about it. Most people think about the plot. I think, could dragons ever existed?
Right.
For the record, I have not partaken in any cannabis probably in almost 4.5, 5 months now.
Wow. So you're straight edge now, basically.
Well, I want to be pretty cognizant with the kid here, and before the kid came, in case we had to rush to the hospital, God forbid, I had a gram of gummies and I can't drive, and I'm like, watching some Netflix show, and we gotta have a baby delivered. That's all it takes from me, right? Very small amount.
Yeah.
No, I'm not completely straight edge, but the 9-year anniversary of the denting was yesterday. So never forget.
9 years. It's almost been a decade. Next year will be the denting decade.
And for our new listeners, basically almost died with a traumatic brain injury 9 years ago. Haven't had alcohol since.
Do we have new listeners?
We do.
We do? Welcome to the new listeners.
Last episode, our Cuban friend Jose.
That's right.
In the last year, I've heard a few
great.
calls.
I love that.
By the way, he left another call. I'm just gonna give you a heads up, Jose. I'm not gonna play it today. One of the things about our show, we try to do 60 seconds or less. I believe you left
That's an old rule. For you new listeners, it seems like Andy's bringing it back.
Well, I just, we try to be concise, right?
Sure.
Bring in a take.
But it also, the new system, it cuts you off after 2 minutes.
Yes.
So it's like, really, what are we talking about here?
Well, Joe, you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked how many people get cut off.
Oh, I'm sure. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, it's not like you can leave a 5-minute voicemail. Like, your rule is like keep it under 60 seconds, but the reality is you get to 2 minutes, it's cutting you off anyway.
Yo, wrap it up, B. Wrap it up.
Speaking of rap, did you see your boy Rappaport down at the Trump thing?
I did not.
Oh man, like, dude, Rappaport, we will never agree on basketball takes, me and Mike Rappaport, but otherwise, I love that fucking dude. And shout out to him. We have gotten some of our favorite listeners from the Rappaport podcast crossover episode we did many moons ago at the Hollywood Improv. But he was literally at the Trump thing downtown, just screaming at people, just screaming at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Just like it was the most. I think it's like the most peak Rappaport I've ever seen.
Well, he's just a troll.
You scumbag.
But that's on brand for him. Like he's
I know it was like peak on brand. I loved it so much because you can hear him. He's a at this point a very famous dude, between the podcast and everything. And he's out there with his camera, like, get out of here, you 3-toed monster, you fucking scumbag, you. I was like,
see, like I have like I said, I'm like, I've tuned it all out, man. I can't. I'm like no politics for me.
Well, I don't. Again, I'm not sure.
But even that, I don't. My thing is like
former president of the United States getting indicted for criminal behavior is even quote unquote politics. I mean, that's more like
it's politics.
Well, I mean, but it's the news itself isn't like, dude, this is the first time it's ever happened.
Sure, no, for sure. But
I think I said the last time a president had even been arrested or something like that was like a president for riding their horse-drawn carriage too fast.
But I would argue probably so many presidents should have been indicted.
Oh, listen, and that's somebody said the other day, they were like, what about fucking Clinton? I was like, there's not a president in my lifetime
that shouldn't have been,
with the exception of the 1 year that I was, but my first year on Earth when Jimmy Carter was the president. He is the one president in my lifetime I wouldn't want to see get arrested. I would take joy in seeing every president in my lifetime being arrested. Facts. Except for Jimmy Carter. Facts. I would enjoy. There's not a president that I was conscious of in my lifetime that I wouldn't want to see being processed at a jail.
So that's why for me, I'm just like, by the way, and that's the problem, I think, with all this stuff, right? It's like everybody wants to say it's never happened, whereas okay, it should have happened. And then also now it's like, I'm always like, well, where does this go from here? But then I'm like, okay, I don't know. No, I'm not.
Again, I didn't bring this up for the politics. I just thought Rappaport was, I mean, the idea, it's like you standing outside the NFL offices in fucking Culver City with the fuck Goodell sign on steroids. The dude is down in lower Manhattan screaming at politicians. Dude, you're mega famous.
By the way, great callback to that.
Yeah.
The early Andy Ruther troll days.
I went out and drank with Randy Ruther last night. This is a fun one. I gotta imagine I know the answer to yours, but he said to me, who is the most famous person in your phone? Like who's the most famous person you have a number? And I was like, I don't know. I have some fairly famous people. And then he was like, "Do you have Theo's number?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Dude, that's probably the most famous person on your phone." I was like, "Is he that fucking famous, really?" And then I looked it up, and like he's got 3.3 million Instagram followers. I was like, I have some like actual like, not that Theo's not talented, but like some like what used to be known as like proper celebrities in my phone. And he's probably right. That's probably the most famous person in my phone. If, kind of the modern era Instagram followers is your bar.
Give me the number online because I have Theo's number on my phone too. Let's see if it matches.
What's that?
I'm playing.
But I gotta imagine. I mean, Lance must have more followers than Theo.
I bet you he doesn't.
Really?
I bet you he doesn't. I know Lance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know he's big on TikTok.
I love that his thing. I went to his thing. Under his name is fitness model.
He's
on Instagram.
He's trolling.
That's really funny.
How many does he have on TikTok?
I don't know.
I'd have to go through on my phone. That's a good question.
I would have said for sure. I mean, but that's just wild. I guess that's life today.
Like, what do we describe as famous? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you describe as famous?
I mean, honestly, when I was talking to Justin about it, I was like, oh, well, that's probably like that would probably be how I determined it today. With the exception of like, I don't know if George Clooney or whatever is like on Instagram, but by fame standards, like that's a pretty good measuring stick.
I'd be curious if I actually went through my phone though. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if I have some good ones. I definitely have some former porn stars in my phone.
Okay.
Do you remember when that was a thing?
Yeah.
We were like trying to get porn stars in the early Dirty Sports episodes.
Sure. I mean, when you say we, you mean you.
Those would be some funny if I had those old text exchanges or those old DM exchanges from porn stars about trying to bring them on the show. Also, that's a whole segment. Who is flakier, athletes or porn stars?
Well,
like athletes are pretty flaky.
Yeah. Porn stars have a busier schedule though.
Yeah.
I mean, NFL players, we're just working on Sunday. Porn stars, they work every day but Sunday because most of them love Jesus somehow as well.
Is OnlyFans still a thing? Like,
I believe it is.
Is that still pretty popular?
Yeah. Fans only, as Andy Ruther used to call it. As Ruther Andy used to refer to it.
Why did I don't know why I always did that.
Fans only is the world's worst furniture store. You guys got world's worst appliance store. You guys got air conditioner? Nope. Fans only.
Well, I saw something I shared with you before we started the show, which I found pretty interesting, talking about online and seeing stuff and social media. This story on Joel Embiid, I don't know if it's old, if it's somebody just repurposed it on Twitter, but I saw this thing on Joel Embiid that he posted in the Players Tribune. Somebody tweeted out yesterday. It's about how he learned to shoot. And I think it's pertinent because Joel Embiid, is he the leading? Who's going to win the MVP this year?
I mean, it's at this point, it basically comes down to him and Jokic.
Right?
It seems like the popular consensus is it'll probably be Jokic because of their record again. But it seems like it's probably a two-man race with a wild outside shot of Giannis, but it's probably Jokic. But Embiid's right there.
So this is a background how Joel Embiid taught himself to shoot. It's pretty funny. Embiid taught himself to shoot by watching YouTube videos. You have to hear this explanation. So he was born in Cameroon, for people who didn't know, and he came to America when he was 16. So he says he had size, no basketball skills at all. Didn't come to America until he's 16. So this is what he wrote in the Players Tribune. So I'm chilling one night and I go on YouTube and I'm thinking I'm about to figure this shooting thing out. I go to the search box, which by the way is so funny, right? Trying to figure out this shooting thing. I love how he words that. Anyway, he goes to the search box and he writes how to shoot 3-pointers. Nah. How to shoot good form. Nah. Then the light bulb went off, man. I typed in the magic words, white people shooting 3-pointers. And he follows it up by writing this. Listen, I know it's a stereotype, but have you ever seen a normal 30-year-old white guy shoot a 3-pointer? That elbow is tucked, man. The knees are bent. The follow through is perfect. Always. You know how in America, there's always an older guy wearing like Everlast sweat shorts at the court? That guy is always a problem. His J is always wet. I seriously got to the league by watching YouTube and living in the gym. There's no other way to explain it.
Such a millennial move. You can learn everything on YouTube. The YouTube tutorial. The tutorial.
But you know what? I read that and I think it's actually pretty motivational for anything. It's true. Like if there's anything you want to figure out, anything, you can just go on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I think he has a
lot of people have ended up spending way more money than they were going to originally at the fucking mechanic or at Home Depot or whatever after trying some shit they saw on YouTube, though.
True. Now there's certain things. Yeah, I'm not messing with that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going on YouTube how to build a house.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but hey, I got an issue with
and
the
that
toilet.
wouldn't work. That would be the same thing as him looking up like shooting 3-pointers. You got to the converse example of this would be Mexican building a house. That's what you need. That's like Joel Embiid's white guy shooting a 3.
Yeah, no, for sure. And also he's got the DNA, right? Like, dude, you're 7 feet. Like you had God-given ability through your height and just through genetics. But it's pretty crazy that he just watched YouTube. It reminds me, so my roommate sophomore year of college, shout out to Enrique. He was from, where was he from? He was from Ecuador. And I said, how'd you learn English, man? He goes, you know how I mostly learned it? I just listened to Beatles songs over and over and over. And he's like, that really helped me learn English. Which, like, if you think about it, he's just listening to album after album of the Beatles. It's kind of a similar thing. And like with shooting.
Every friend he made in America started out with him asking if they wanted to hold hands. Anytime he couldn't remember like how to say something, he'd just be out in public. He'd be like, help! I need somebody.
Oh, and then he became a huge Coldplay fan. I remember that. Like
kind of the modern day Beatles.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like it kind of was a natural transition, but it is nuts though. If you just watched videos and then practiced, right? Like shooting, anyone can learn if you think about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the height or the athleticism.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, we joke. I made the joke about the house building or whatever, but like the idea of, or his thing is like, it's not even like a racism thing or whatever. The bottom line is there are tons of guys in the NBA who have achieved their basketball success on athleticism, freak athleticism alone. Like that's kind of the first step. Like you're better off. You have a way better chance of being in the NBA by being an absolute freak athlete, just born a freak athlete, than you do somebody who puts in 1 trillion hours learning to play basketball. Like literally, like if you put two babies next to each other in the hospital, and you're like, this kid is going to be 6'9" and a freak athlete. And you're like, this kid is going to be 5'11" and he's going to play basketball for 5 hours for every day for the rest of his life. Who do you believe will make it to the NBA? I'm like, I'm going to go with this kid. I'm going to go with the kid who's going to be 6'9". So But Joel Embiid's point was, there's like an infinite number of guys out there who have actually the perfect jump shot and don't miss. And that's why people always say Steph Curry is the best 3-point shooter of all time. I go, no, he's not. He's just the best 3-point shooter of all time that can get his shot off in the NBA and has an athleticism to be able to dribble and has an athleticism. I mean, we've seen it because you have your Papa Shot thing. Like, there's a guy, your score is like, was crazy when we went there. There's a guy that will triple your score in Japan who doesn't even look at the hoop and he's just two-handing it. Yeah. It's a literal machine. Now that guy can never play in the NBA, but if he set his mind to being like, my goal is to make as many 3-point shots as I can in 5 minutes on a real hoop, he would end up doing the same thing. It's robotics. But like, we always talk about, we've all seen the meme of Bill Belichick holding the fucking binoculars, like looking at the 5'10" white guy. It's like, every time a white guy's in the NFL, oh man, Wes Welker just runs the crispest patterns. Oh, Edelman, he's so crafty. And it's like, yeah, he needs to be because he's not athletic enough to even make it to the league on that alone. And when people joke about Bill Belichick, it's because Bill Belichick is like, I would literally rather in my offense, the way I coach, have somebody who's going to run the pattern correct than some guy who's going to, round it off a little bit, but God forbid he does catch it, he can stiff arm somebody and take it to the house. He's like, I don't give a shit about that. He's like, I want to know that when a guy's doing a fucking 10-yard in, it's a 90-degree in, coming back to the ball. He does it exactly 10 yards, not 11, not 9.5. So, like, that's the thing. And it's where you get guys like a Steph Curry, for example, whose dad was an NBA player. He's not even as big as his dad. You got a guy who put all the skill work in with a basketball pedigree. Yeah. Not a freak athlete. He's not a freak athlete. It's all in the dribble work, the footwork, the jump shot itself, the quickness. He's not banging dunks on people.
No, he's not. But he's also a really good golfer, right? So it just shows like he has what I would call not athleticism, and not that he's not.
I mean, he's obviously a freak athlete compared to like
just what I'm saying.
Mankind. Just
he's
not
athletic.
NBA players.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's not athletic, but he has a fine-tuned skill set, which definitely parlays into a game like golf as well.
Yeah,
right. Like he's just straight up skilled, and.
But a great example of like kind of the thing is like, think about a guy like J.R. Smith. So raw, such a freak athlete, so talented. Imagine if J.R. Smith put in the work that Steph Curry put in.
Yeah.
And you can see that already. Like I assume being the son of an NBA player, mostly playing in Carolina, Steph Curry probably spent a lot of time on a golf course as a kid. Meanwhile, J.R. Smith, I have a feeling, wasn't a member of a country club as a child. And now, with like 2 years out of the NBA, he's like, man, I'm going to take up golf. Now he's a college golfer.
Yeah. I know. It's I don't know. I almost think it's inspirational, though. If I'm a kid and I see that, doesn't mean you're going to the NBA. But if I'm a kid and I see that, you have to think this is so inspiring. I can be a great shooter. I can be a great shooter for my high school.
And then if you happen to also be born 7 feet tall, you can be Joel Embiid.
Yeah. I know.
Otherwise, if you were born 5'10" white, you could be Jimmer Fredette and be the greatest 3-point shooter of all time that can't get your shot off in the NBA and will one day play for the Dragons in China.
Not a bad life, though. Like, that's not a bad substitute. You made millions playing basketball. It's not that bad, right? So we're wrapping up the regular season here.
Yeah.
Big game last night. Clippers beat the Lakers. Looks the Lakers are now going to be in the. Are those playing games? Is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Looks like the Lakers will be
tournament.
The play-in tournament.
Well, there's still a couple games left.
Sure.
And I think everybody figured that the Lakers would probably. I actually thought that they were going to sit LeBron last night because on the second day of a back-to-back, I really didn't give them a whole lot a shot of beating the Clippers anyway. But yeah, if the Lakers can finish at least in that 7 spot or the 8 spot, then it's a 1-game play in. If whoever wins the 7-8 game is in.
Yeah. Well, Nuggets can't talk. They wrapped up the 1 seed. Bucks wrapped up the 1 seed in the East. You like the Sixers to challenge them the most, or no?
I don't really like anybody I don't love the chances of. So right now, the Bucks with the 1 seed would have a winner of a 7-8 game. No, sorry, they would have the winner of the second game. They would have whoever comes in the 8 seed, right? Then they would have a Cavs Knicks winner, neither of which I think give them a ton of trouble. And so then you have essentially, if the seeding were to work out right, a Celtics Sixers series at 2-3, they beat each other up. I don't really like either of them coming off of that series challenging a Bucks team that I think will have an easier time getting to an Eastern Conference Finals. I have the Bucks in the NBA Finals.
Yeah. Well, we saw some big news last night. You alerted me. I had just seen it. People DM me. Mark Cuban wants Kyrie Irving back on the team. He said that's the top priority to give a long-term deal to Kyrie Irving. What's going on with Mark Cuban right now?
I do not know. I think it's like everything, it's hard to stay locked in forever. I mean, Mark Cuban came into the league. He was the brash young owner. He's turned it into so much, Shark Tank, cameos in movies. He's the industry leader in budget medicine at this point. Like, he's doing a lot. I think maybe he's just lost his touch for the NBA. Now, listen, he was never the GM. He was never the coach of the team. He's always been a rich guy who bought it. But I just thought smarter than this. Like, if this was an episode of Shark Tank, they always go, "What are your sales? What are your margins?" You do that with Kyrie Irving. So, how long have you been selling this product? Oh, well, I just started selling it. Well, what were you selling before? Oh, I was selling it to the Nets before that, and then I was selling it to the Celtics. How come you've started 5 different businesses? Oh, all of them were failures. That's why I'm here. Mark Cuban goes, your business history is suspect at best. For that reason, I'm out. And like, he has the Mavs have gotten worse by his addition. No doubt about that.
That's why this whole thing is so confusing. The facts are right in front of you. The team is performing worse.
It's almost an ego thing at this point that I think is getting in the way. Like, do you think that you can fix him? Now, obviously, he's not the coach, but it's like, no one has ever doubted Kyrie Irving's talent, but he's just not like, it would be cool for him to do like some sort of, circus act where he like dribbles and hits like contested layups and some sort of skills competition. But in terms of being a great basketball player on a basketball team that wins, he's not suited for that.
He doesn't make teams better. End of story.
He never has.
We don't have a 2-year test on this. We have 7 years on this. Like we're talking, they won that title in 2016. And he seems to have been a problem since. I just don't understand how he can rationalize this.
I think the
And he's
Jalen
making
Brunson
excuses. Yeah.
situation and the what to do with Luka thing. I think it's all. I think he's just like. I think Cuban's just. He's lost the plot a little bit, and he's spinning for answers, and now it's just he's a little bit on tilt. He's doubling down instead of admitting this was a bad move. We never should have traded those guys for this guy. It's time to move on.
But he also wants Jason Kidd to stay. He's also, whether it was right or wrong, or whether he's right or wrong, he's blaming Jalen Brunson's dad for why he left. It's like, dude, you're the owner. Like, you can say it's Jalen Brunson's dad and
offer him the most money. He wouldn't have left.
Yeah.
When's the last time somebody left the team that they were on for less money?
Yeah, it rarely happens. I can't think off the top of my head. But they made the Western Conference Finals last year. These things can change on a dime, and that's what seems is happening down in Dallas, because you were like this close, man. I felt like you have the star in Luka. You put some nice pieces around him. Who knows what could happen? Now you're not even going to make the playoffs.
And we talked about it a couple episodes ago. It's like the model has been there in now. Dirk and LeBron are not similar players in terms of like what they produce, but they are similar in terms of like such great scorers and such great leaders that it seems like the last thing that you need on a team like that is to get another ball dominant star. Like, just do the LeBron thing and surround him with shooters and surround him with pieces and get a big that can defend and get a big that can rebound and get guys that want to play D, because Luka doesn't really. Instead, you literally went out and got a guard version of Luka that also isn't as consistent.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I think I tweeted it the day it happened. There's a GIF of, there's a GIF of, two golden retrievers trying to eat the same tennis ball. And I was like, the Mavs' new offense.
But you also would think he's going through decision makers in the team before this happens, right? He's got to be talking to the GM, talking to Jason Kidd. You would hope talking to his players, saying, can you guys make this work? Or do you want to make this work? Do you want to try? Unless he's just going rogue and saying, I think we can make this work. He won a title one time with LeBron.
Well, the stupid version of it would be, hey, we made the Western Conference Finals last year with Jalen Brunson as our other guy. He is a crafty point guard that actually ended up playing somewhat decently as a counterpart to Luka. We lost him. We're not as good this year. Why don't we get this other guy who's sort of a more talented version of Jalen Brunson? And in theory, that works. But what isn't part of the theory is the guy's a total fucking head case. Jalen Brunson played really well when Luka was out and then dialed back his game when Luka was back. Kyrie Irving left LeBron James because he wanted to be the star of his own team. Now you have a young guy in Luka who puts up a similar stat line to LeBron James every night, and you brought in the guy who wanted to leave a team because he didn't want to play with a guy like that. When somebody tells you who they are, believe them.
Yeah. So you alerted me to something before the show that I saw. Joe Praino putting some things on the rundown today, guys. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, I came across this last night on TikTok, and I don't know why. I think it was like like it was led. I got led to it through a wormhole, because his last post was in January, but it was I got led to this account because there's actually a post on somebody else's account of a video they took of him, and then they had tagged him, and that had gone viral. And I think it's one of those where it's like 20 people have had the same video that they posted. But essentially, the video I saw was like a kid talking to Delonte West out the window of a car, and he was like, "You played on the Celtics?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "And you played against LeBron James?" He's like, "I played with LeBron James for a long time." And the kid's like, "What? You were?" And then this other account was tagged it, and I clicked on it, and Delonte West has his own TikTok account.
Yeah.
Whilst being homeless.
So Delonte West, also a former Maverick, has this TikTok account. You put it on a rundown. I clicked on it. It's pretty depressing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, so he has some serious mental health issues. He's homeless. I know Mark Cuban has reached out. That was all publicized. Mark Cuban was trying to help him out. But as you know, when someone has severe mental health issues, there's only so much you can do, right? Like, you can't force somebody to get off drugs. You can't force somebody to go stay in a home you might provide or some sort of residence. But
it's a really sad story. And he's obviously like trying to figure out his way back. There's a thing in the bio about him wanting to start a podcast. But the first thing that came to my mind after I watched it is one thing. And people always talk, it always makes me angry. People always talk about Michael Jordan and the shitty things that he did to people as some sort of badge of honor. Like, he's so great. He's such a competitor. Some guy said good game, and the next day he went and he dropped 30 on him. And Isaiah Thomas didn't shake his hand, so he blackballed him from the dream team. And people always do this. And then they're always like, LeBron, he's too nice. To me, I came across this TikTok account. I go, man, we're still sleeping on LeBron James. There was a rumor one time that Delonte West hooked up with LeBron James' mom. LeBron blackballed him from houses. There was a rumor. LeBron James was like, you're now blackballed from residences, bro. Like, Delonte West messed with Michael, Isaiah Thomas messed with Michael Jordan, and he didn't get to go to Barcelona. He didn't get to go to his like Hall of Fame speech or whatever. LeBron James had a rumor about Delonte West. Delonte West isn't allowed. Forget the Hall of Fame. He's not allowed in hallways. Like, LeBron's got the dude blackballed from indoors.
Savage.
Now, I don't think it's right, but as far as people go, they love to like, oh, Michael Jordan, he's so. LeBron has Delonte West blackballed from eating meals.
So this is his TikTok.
This cynical alchemist.
Cynical alchemist, again, currently looking to set up a podcast. He can't even like talk. Can we get him?
Can he be on the DSPN network? Can he have a podcast with Matty Goldberg?
I'm gonna click on the last video was what, January?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
So he's doing a horchata jingle.
Horchata.
Oh.
But like, when you click on videos of him talking, here's the one before that.
Harold, what's up, buddy? Man, I see your comments in the comment section. Appreciate your support. Man, we're going to catch up soon, all right? Love you, man. My man. Wow.
I mean, he can't even talk. Like that, like,
a guy's down and out when he once played in the NBA, and now he's wearing champion gear.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying. Dude, you're in the NBA. I think if you walk in a Nike store and you're like, I played in the NBA, they just give you something. The fall from grace to go from the NBA to champion gear.
So I haven't clicked on this one. Where's this one? This one is 2.1.
We need to get Delonte West a sponsorship from Russell Athletic.
And what's up, man? You're the first to hit us up on the podcast. Your boy D West. Appreciate the support. Stay sharp. More to come. Love you, man.
Where's this
D.
podcast?
Peterson, what's up, man? You're the first to hit us up on the podcast. Your boy D West.
Oh my goodness, man. How many of these did you click through?
A bunch. And I feel terrible for the guy. And it really does seem like it seems crazy. I mean, I know you said Cuban has tried to reach out and whatever. It's crazy. I can't believe it's really a sad story to go to from the NBA. I don't know how much he made in his career. I'm sure a lot. It's just wild.
I mean, this video right here is titled Ladybug Flew onto my finger. I put it in a bottle for research purposes.
I put it in bottle for research purposes.
I mean, he knows
it
how to
looks
use
like
TikTok.
a round Spider-Man.
It's crazy that Delonte West learned how to use TikTok before Andy Ruther. He's doing voiceovers. He's replying to comments.
By the way, we have a comment from
Maddie's in the house. Oh
What?
my God. I love it. By the way, look at that Maddie Gotham Comedy Club avatar. I love it. Let's do this. Dude, this would be the greatest podcast of all time. The Real Dent Report.
Maddie says, I'd be honored to have Delonte West as my co-host. That would be must-see TV, must-see podcast.
TV.
Right? Those two. I mean, I don't know how Goldberg
Maddie's like a big like whack pack kind of guy. Like he loves all that stuff. This would be the perfect.
Because I don't even
perfect duo.
I don't even know how Maddie's understanding him. Like he can barely speak.
It's your birthday?
Yeah. Cape Soul. Everybody. It's a nice hot summer afternoon. I just turned 39. And I feel fine and divine. Peace.
I mean, my man is struggling. Yeah. So you're blaming LeBron James on all this, is what you're saying?
I am, and I hate it. I hate that this is the world we live in, where we've given props for so long to guys like Michael Jordan for just like being a piece of trash. But people look up to that guy, you know? So I feel like LeBron was like, man, I couldn't keep Isaiah out of the Hall of Fame. LeBron's like, I'm going to keep Delonte West out of just halls in general. Can't even have Hall's cough drops.
He made over 16 million, a little over 16 million.
Jesus. Imagine that. Imagine making 16 million in like a couple years, dude.
He played longer than you think, man. That's the thing.
I mean, listen, when all is said and done, Andy, and you're in your last days on Earth, your 16 million will have come and gone through your life. But the dude made 16 million over the course of what? 8 seasons in the NBA?
Yeah, I'll pull it up right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seasons. He was part of that very talented
If you tell me right now, over the next 9 years of my life, I will acquire $16 million. I will never be broke again.
Yeah.
I'll never be close to broke.
He was on that talented St. Joe's team that was a #1 seed. Him and Jameer Nelson. Goldberg seems like he's in.
I love this. We need to set this up. We'll film it at the In-N-Out in Barstow at 1 a.m.
Goldberg,
I feel like there's an underground railroad that Delonte West and the homeless people are part of that probably funnels you to the In-N-Out in Barstow.
It's a good In-N-Out in Barstow.
Yeah.
Also, the Fat Burger. Don't forget the Fat Burger, Goldberg. That was a classic spot where we'd always stop on the way to March Madness. We go to Fat Burger. Goldberg needs to meet my girlfriend. They have a lot in common with their eating habits. Not big condiments, not big like onions and pickles and all the things you would get on a burger, all the dressings, so to speak, on it. She eats like, I've told her, I was like, you need to meet my buddy Matty Goldberg. Like, you eat like him.
She's been at a restaurant and she'll be like, I'll have a Coke, and they'll be like, we have Pepsi, and she'll stab the waiter to death.
Oh man.
Matty Goldberg, famous for yeah. Unless they're like, is Pepsi okay? And he's like, no. We got to make the Delonte West Matty Goldberg podcast happen immediately.
Who was going to start that? Like, I'm wondering.
Listen, can we just Andy? His email's in his bio. After we get off today, can you shoot him an email and just be like, we want to do a podcast with you and our buddy Matty Goldberg. Also, can you get yourself to the In-N-Out and Barstow tonight by 1 a.m.?
Also, can you get a computer? We need to set up some technology.
Yeah.
Like, how's this going to work?
Let me ask you something, though, Andy. I already know my answer to this. Are you in for splitting the cost of a? I mean, I have an old laptop right here. Can we send Delonte West a laptop and a microphone so that he can zoom into a podcast of Matty Goldberg? I mean, I don't know where he plugs that in. I don't know if there's like a, if he just goes to the horchata place, if they have Wi-Fi. But also, can somebody reach out to LeBron James to ask him to let the man live?
Yeah, logistics are tough on this, right? Like, how are we going to make this work? So that was always the rumor, right? That Delonte
hooked up with LeBron's mom.
Like, I just put in LeBron James, Delonte West, and the only thing that comes up into Google is that he hooked up with Gloria James, his mother.
And LeBron was like, and I took that personally.
There's no, like, there's nothing on here that, like, where we have LeBron. Oh, he denied it. Delonte West denied it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. This is an unsubstantiated rumor. You're
gonna love this. Hey, according according to First Sports, SPORTZ.
That was the original Andy Ruther podcast. It was done on Webby or whatever.
According to First Sports, this is an article published in October. The headline reads, this is like a terrible version of Black Sports Online. First Sports. The headline reads, she's a strong Black woman. Delonte West denied all rumors of sleeping with LeBron James' mom. Is there a video of him talking about it? No. Oh, hold on. Dude, we got a video of him talking about it. So apparently, I don't know when this was taken. This is from 12 years ago. So let's pull this video up. I don't know what he's going to say.
The low side, the tiger style, karate. Really? No question.
So, like, just tell me a little bit. Like, what did you actually do to Gloria? Like, what was it?
The Golden Panther.
Is that even real, or
Is it real?
yeah?
Man, people, listen to me, man. People die because of the thing I'm talking about. I'm gonna give you an example of the Golden Panther. You just gotta point somebody out.
What is he?
Gloria saying?
Master, the precious.
What? Wait, he's always been. This is when he's in the NBA and he can't speak English.
Talking about the Golden Panther. Now he's recording his TikToks outside the Golden Panther.
What the hell was that?
Styrofoam plate of chow mein in front of him.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Did he just do a precious line?
Yeah.
He didn't deny anything right there. It's a misleading headline. How dare you? How dare you mislead First Sports? So we don't have an answer on this.
No. That's what I'm saying. This is like, people go, oh, that one dude said, good game, Mike. This is an unsubstantiated rumor. LeBron fired him into outer space.
Because I really don't remember LeBron weighing in. When it resurfaced, and
There's a rumor I heard last night from somebody. This is the other reason.
Wait, are you serious?
No, I swear to God, this is something else. So I started talking about this, and then I don't want to reveal my source, but my source told me that there was a time that somebody he knew was working for one of the big sports networks with 4 letters, and that LeBron James' team sent a cease and desist to all the sports networks saying, no more talking about Delonte and my mom.
Was anybody from ESPN talking about LeBron and his mom? I highly doubt it.
I don't know.
That's kind of a bitch move, though. I'll be honest, Joe. This is where I really don't like LeBron, because you hear this. You hear about these cease and desist. You hear all the legal stuff he does, which I hate. Like, I'm trying to think of another story I've heard where he's done that. They've done that.
If he was the real GOAT, he would have formed his own production company and put together a 9-part documentary series about how his mom didn't sleep with Delonte.
I think it's funny you said. I think now that it's kind of hit me, I think LeBron and Jordan do share a lot of those tendencies.
Yeah. Listen, he wears 23. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Michael set the standard for like how that was my point at the beginning of this. Is like everybody holds this, and I think it's a very bad thing. Like, everybody acts like it's really cool and great. They did. Oh man, he punched Steve Kerr in the face. Like, he assaulted somebody. What are we talking about? Like, why are we some guy said good game, and then he fucking drove him out of the NBA. It's like, that's sociopathic behavior. Why would he do that? That doesn't make him cool or a competitor. And I feel like LeBron James did the same thing. There was an unsubstantiated rumor that linked his mom with some player in the NBA, and LeBron was like, okay, have fun drinking horchata under a fucking highway overpass for the rest of your life.
I'm just now connecting this, and it should have been right in front of my face. Like, LeBron really does try to follow the MJ path in a lot of ways. I mean, he did another Space Jam. He's getting into the movie stuff. Jordan was doing the movie stuff. I wonder if those two get along at all. That's a conversation I would love to see. Like, does LeBron like Jordan and vice versa? Do we think Jordan just hates LeBron for real?
Yeah.
Like, nobody actually ever talks about that.
Well, we talked. There was the clip back in the day of him dunking while Jordan was sitting courtside, and he like stared him down mid dunk. You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. And I'm also thinking at the time at some basketball camp. This is early on in LeBron's career. And a kid asked him about LeBron and Kobe. And he says, Kobe. And this is, I believe, I have to pull that clip. I think this is before LeBron had even ever won a title.
I feel like we need to look to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan should save Delonte West as just like a fuck you to LeBron. He should make Delonte West the head pro at Grove 23 golf course.
I was just gonna say it's like Happy Gilmore. He makes him his homeless caddy.
Can you imagine if Delonte West becomes the Bill Murray character in Caddyshack? Here we are at Augusta drinking a horchata, about to win the Precious. You're like, what the fuck? A lot of people call Jack Nicklaus the Golden Bear. I call him the Golden Panther. Precious. What? Go back in your hut, Carl. Let me get this gopher.
The Masters is this weekend.
It is this weekend.
I'm not going to be watching it probably.
I'll probably throw it on. I'll be in Palm Springs, but I'll probably play some golf this weekend, hang out in the pool. But I'll check in on it. There's Mets baseball weekend too, so it'll be background checking in. But my thing with this, and you probably agree, I'm rooting so hard for the Live guys.
Well, it's funny
So
you
hard.
say that. It's
So
funny,
hard.
It's funny you say that. I did read one.
All I
thing.
want is a Live guy to win it all.
I did read an article last night in the Wall Street Journal about that, saying I guess whoever's in charge of the Masters was skirting around even acknowledging the Live, and it was I forget, of the 26 former Masters guys who were there yesterday, a fair chunk of them are Live guys now. Is it maybe 7? So that's what they were saying is the Masters and the PGA are just praying a Live guy doesn't win it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And my favorite golfer on earth these days is Cam Smith, the Australian guy who wears the mullet, rocks the mullet. Super fun. He went to Live. I'm rooting so hard for him.
But
I'm not a Koepka guy, but I'm no matter whichever Live guy wins. I actually think of all the cuckery on the internet, no one is more cucked than the guys who are in the comments under anything about golf being took the money, what a bitch. It's who gives a single when we talk about the Jordan, the Nike, and all the propaganda campaigns, can you imagine being so brainwashed by a fucking golf tour? It's more important. No, it's not. No one why are you standing for some fucking corporate conglomerate golf tour?
And also, I always say, it's a weird move to tell somebody where they should work. That's odd to me, whether it's golf or the NFL or whatever you do. It's a weird move to tell somebody, hey, I don't want you to work. Why do you care where somebody works? You're a fucking dork. That is a weird stand. That's probably one of the all-time worst stands, standing for the PGA.
Yeah.
Well, I was reading a little more about it after I read that article last night. I guess the ratings are terrible for Live on the CW and all these lawsuits and this and that. Who knows how long Live will last? But again, it's
already sparked change in the PGA.
I was going to say, it already worked. All that stuff has already changed the PGA Tour forever. So if anything, all those PGA guys should be kissing Phil Mickelson's ass.
Yeah.
I got an idea for Delonte West. Maybe this isn't the best idea. We set him up. Him, Matty Goldberg. We bring him a couple Miller Lights. We say, we're gonna send this offer. You're gonna do a podcast with over a couple cold Miller Lights, Joe.
I think that this is a fantastic idea.
Right?
Absolutely.
Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
Yeah. Is Matty drinking these days? If he is, he should be drinking Miller Lite. I went out with our boy Randy Ruther last night and to a bar pretty close to me, and went in. They had their draft set up. I didn't see Miller Lite on draft. I saw their bottles and their cans. I didn't see Miller Lite. But you know what? I had faith, and I said, I don't see it. I said to the guy, I don't see it. Is there any chance you have Miller Lite? He's like, I have Miller Lite in a bottle. Is that great? And he goes, is that good for you? I go, yeah. I like Miller Lite on draft at the bar. Fantastic. But if you don't have, listen, I have a refrigerator full of Miller Lite cans. I have absolutely no problem with Miller Lite can. But in order, Miller Lite draft, Miller Lite bottle, Miller Lite can. When they were like, yeah. When they were like, yeah, we got it in bottles, I'm like, perfection. I was like, can I pay for 6 up front and get some sort of discount? He's like, no, that's not how it works. I was like, all right, well, then I'll take them one at a time.
Miller Lite is the time when you and your friends, like last night, get together to enjoy the simple things in life, right, Joe Praino? Just like last night, you and Randy Ruth are getting together. Light beer with the flavor you love, taste like Miller Lite. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/dirty sports, or you can find it anywhere that's pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. We have it right there on the screen. If you want it delivered, just go to that website.
That's right.
So we have some small developments because
Okay.
it's nothing major, but just a one little development on the Lamar Jackson situation, which
Okay.
seems to be the main thing in the NFL. Their GM yesterday was quoted as saying, it's quite possible to get a good QB at any point in the draft, and said they would take a quarterback if they had the opportunity. Basically, again.
In the first round.
Yes.
What when is the NFL draft?
I believe it's 3 weeks from today. It starts.
Okay. We got a wild situation in the NFL in terms of obviously two major quarterbacks that you feel like have to get settled one way or the other before the draft.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you have to settle the Aaron Rodgers situation and the Lamar Jackson situation before the draft.
Yeah.
Now, for the Ravens, I feel like they need to settle it before the draft because they would then potentially draft a QB. Whereas the Packers don't need to settle it before the draft. They have two QBs.
Sure.
But the Jets, you would think, would want to settle it before the draft for their own draft board. But also, if you're the Packers, I would think that you would want to get it done because you would want to get picks in this draft, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you can obviously they're probably asking for ones, and it won't necessarily be. They could potentially be asking for multiple years of one, so it doesn't necessarily have. But like, if I was the Jets, the Packers, or the Ravens right now, I would be desperate to settle these situations before the NFL draft. You can't be the Ravens, have Lamar Jackson under the franchise tag, and draft a QB, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that forces this situation, but then also, dude, no one wants him.
No one wants him. It's crazy. Lamar Jackson, he has become the poster child for having an agent. I mean, he really has. Like, Lamar, you've become the poster child for why that percentage that the agent gets is important. I don't know anybody in recent memory. I know guys who did things that were maybe outside the box, like Ricky Williams had Master P as his agent. Remember, that was a huge thing at the time with the Saints.
There was a lineman this year that just signed a big deal that did it without an agent.
Okay.
And has extended his deal, has been dealing without an agent for a while. But that being said,
yeah,
when you're in a situation where you have specific demands,
yeah,
and it's not just, I want what I think is my market value.
Sure.
Like Lamar Jackson wants huge guaranteed money. Bro, get an agent.
Sure. No, I agree. I mean, like I at this point, I don't understand why he wouldn't just get one.
Well, I think the not just getting an agent, and also the fact that he has not just said, hey man, I'll take that $130 million you offered me guaranteed, is because of pride.
That's what I'm saying. It goes back to the Mark Cuban thing we're talking about. You just don't want to look bad.
Yeah.
You're just going to double, triple down on all that. I don't know, man. I've never seen anything like this. It is crazy to think that the draft is just in 3 weeks. I would think at the end of that weekend, something would have to be finalized. Whether he's on the Ravens for one more year, whether he signed a long-term deal, or whether he's going somewhere else. I don't know where somewhere else is.
And I mean, but he is, they've already franchised him.
So he has the option to play or not play.
Correct.
That's what it boils down to.
He can take that money and play.
So that's all it boils down to. Interesting. Man. This is a draft I'm actually excited about because of this. I haven't been this excited to I'm not talking about drafting the players, to see that's the situation and the Jets situation with Aaron Rodgers. Like, I am very excited to see how this all plays out because I can't remember a time like this.
Weirdly, the Jets fans that I follow, and I follow a fair number of Jets fans because they cross over with Mets fans pretty heavily. But Jets fans feel really confident that for some reason they're getting Aaron Rodgers and they're getting him for like a great deal, like that they hold all the cards here. And it's like, if that were true, you'd already have him.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, to me, there's some delusion from Jets fans. It's like, if you don't think the Packers will just fucking trade him somewhere else, or be like, fine, fuck it, don't play for us.
Yeah. Or
come back. Like, think about this franchise and the Packers. Like, how many times they went through this with Favre? Like, if I'm a Jets fan, I am absolutely shaking that we still don't have him. He wants to play for you. They want to get rid of him, and he still isn't on your team.
I mean, what are we going on here? A month? Almost a month? At least 3 weeks? It's been that long. Did you see what Tyreek Hill said?
No.
I'll be shocked if this actually happens. He said today he's going to retire when his contract ends.
Okay. When does his contract up?
End of 2025.
End of 2025. So that's 3 more years?
Yeah, he'll be 31 at the end of that, and he will have played 10 years.
Okay. And they'll have made a ton of money.
Yeah, his deal with the Dolphins was 4 years, 120. So if he plays through that, I mean, we'll see. The wide receiver position is interesting because obviously it changes so quickly. Like, you could be on top of the world and then suddenly your skills are just completely decimated.
Yeah.
So 3 years is a lot. So maybe he will.
Yeah. But honestly, if the Hall of Fame, like Tyreek Hill is on his way to the Hall of Fame. And if you play 3 more years at the level he's played so far, and then you retire at the peak, he's probably in the Hall of Fame, and he has a bunch of money. And he's got a Super Bowl.
You think he's on his way? You already think he's on his way to the Hall of Fame?
I mean, you tell me, what do the numbers look like? Like, I know longevity is important, but
if he produces so he's had, of the last 6 seasons, 5 of the 6, 1,100 yards or more. I mean, he's producing. Now, 1 year he missed 4 games. I'm just saying, if he does like he does the last 3 years, 3 more of that,
right,
it'd be tough to say no. But I never understood the Hall of Fame with the voters and the wide receivers. T.O. obviously wasn't liked by the dumb voters who then take it personally, and he took so long to get in. I just see that.
How many career yards does he have?
He only has 8,300 right now. That's why I'm saying that.
So if he plays another 3 years, you're looking at him getting to 12,000 basically.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And how many touchdowns does he have?
He's 63 right now receiving.
63 touchdowns. That's a lot.
Is it?
Yes. Let's look up. I'm just gonna look up somebody that's, in my opinion, like.
I mean, look, you know what he really has going for him? He's been a first team All-Pro 4 times.
First team All-Pro 4 times.
Which one was his rookie year? I assume that's for kick returns. It's got to be, because he only started 1 game his rookie year.
Right.
So he's been first team All-Pro as a wide receiver 3 times.
Is Andre Johnson in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he's got to be.
I don't know if he is. I'm trying to look it up now.
Oh, Andre Johnson, he is he was a finalist, wasn't he? I don't know.
Andre Johnson has 14,000 career yards. Is not in the Hall of Fame. Did not make the Hall of Fame this year. He has 70 career touchdowns.
Okay.
So it's I would say that a lot of people, in fact, I just looked up Andre Johnson Hall of Fame and they said snubbed. So a lot of people think,
yeah, I'm not saying, for the record, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just, for me, they get weird with wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like I felt Torrey Holt should have gotten in sooner. Isaac Bruce should have gotten in sooner. Like these guys, they hold out, and I don't get it. If you play at such a high level. So I'm going to address this YouTube comment. Ravens fan here. Absolutely no way Lamar plays.
I agree with that.
He's already requested the trade, and that's fine, by the way. I don't disagree. My counter to that is, where does he go though?
The issue with Lamar Jackson right now is that the reason he hasn't signed. Listen, if there was the situation that was happening with the Ravens right now, whatever, they don't believe in him, or they don't want to extend him, or they don't want to, they want him to change that, whatever. If he was signed by the Ravens, trading him would be a lot easier. He's not signed by the Ravens because the amount of money he wants is absurd to them. And therefore, no one else wants to trade for him because they know in trading for him, they have to be ready to give him the same money, or else he won't play on the tag for them.
Yeah. Get an agent, man. Or talk to somebody with common sense. Like, figure it out. Like there's, you know what, again, just fascinates me so much about the Lamar situation. There's no one in his camp, no brother, no sister, no aunt, no uncle, no friend. There's no one in his camp. All his people who's like, hey man, let me just give you some advice.
Dude, you don't think that he doesn't have an agent because the agent he had was like, bro, no one's giving you $200 million.
It's pure lunacy. So sports books will be allowed in all NFL stadiums this year. Oh, how the tables have turned, Joe Praino. It was literally just a few years ago. The Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, all of them didn't want to go near gambling, and it's bad, and blah, 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 blah.
I mean,
blah.
think about if this had just happened last year. Like if that had happened 1 year ago, Calvin Ridley would have been able to go into an NFL stadium to place a bet on a football game while being suspended from the NFL for gambling.
Yeah.
He's like, no. Don't get the wrong idea. I am not here to play. I'm here to place a bet.
I mean, it's amazing to me. I never thought about that. A year ago, Calvin Ridley could walk in and place a bet. Although he can't, because players are still not allowed to bet.
Well, he was suspended, right?
Yeah, I said, okay. I see what you're saying. Which, by the way, is still a weird thing for me. Like, it's legal, but you can't do it.
Right. And now, obviously, for competitive reasons.
This is a funny comment. Lamar is Mark Cuban right now. That might be a title of our episode. Yeah, dude, it's guys just not wanting to admit that they're wrong or that they fucked up.
I wish we had gotten to the place technologically where memes could be titles for episode. Like, it would be great if the title of our episode could be Lamar Jackson's face and Mark Cuban's face on pointing Spider-Man. One day.
Or we got
a man can dream.
Oh, dude, that technology's moving quick, man. Have you seen any of that AI stuff?
Oh yeah.
It's scary, man. Although it's good for the younger generation. You're not gonna have to do any work. You could put in, if you wanted to write a paper on, let's say,
I know, onto chat GPT, and the like fucking,
you say, I gotta do a paper for school on Yosemite National Park. It will write a paper for you. You think these teachers, which again I was one of, are gonna know? Oh yeah, you didn't write this. Reminds me of the time in high school I wrote a paper. I took
also I would, these days I would just be like, I identify as ChatGPT, so like you can't even be like, no, like I just be like, listen, I am AI.
I used one of my brother's West Point papers in high school.
Great.
Like, the teacher didn't like, this is one of the history class. So my brother's degrees in history. And he graduated like perfect A's in every history class he took at West Point. I took one of his papers on some foreign affair thing with Henry Kissinger. I didn't even read it. I just turned it in senior year.
Dude, my mom is the original ChatGPT. My mom wrote fucking term papers for, I would say, 60 kids in Westchester County. My mom was like, you need a paper? I got you.
What?
Yeah.
That was my thing in college. I used to, because I was good at PS.
And Praino is the original ChatGPT.
I used to write papers for guys.
There are multiple people in the world now that are like doctors and scientists and financial moguls in charge of your money that wouldn't have graduated college without my mom being like, what do you got? The Civil War? All right.
Yeah, probably better than what I used to do. I used to write papers for some of the guys in my fraternity on books I never read.
It's like, what's wrong with you? Dude, if somebody's going to write it who hasn't read the book, why don't you just write it yourself?
I'd be like, I'm a good bullshitter when it comes to writing. I'd tell like one of my buddies, I'm thinking of him particularly. He'd be like, the first time I did it, I got an A. These are like low level English classes, right? Like the 101s. And I'd be like, okay, tell me what happened in the book. I remember one time I actually came back. I specifically remember coming home after drinking all night after going to a Cardinals game. And I came back to the dorm and he's like, dude, you got to give me that paper by tomorrow. And I was like, okay, let me sit down at the computer. What we got here? Tell me what this book is about. C-. But I mean, you don't pay a drunken idiot who's been at a baseball game all night.
I mean, that's impressive, dude. For a guy who recently took the SATs, got like a 900. C- at college.
I got a 960. That was because of the math. Which is not going to be a thing anymore. Aren't they getting rid of the SAT and the ACT?
I have no idea.
That's something I did see too. All those classes we had to take, Joe.
I couldn't, like, dude, I can't even imagine being like, I would be so fucking annoying if I were a kid in high school now. Tell me about the War 1812. Bitch, you don't have Google? Look it up your fucking self. What am I, your slave? Get fucked. Why am I now I'm doing your work for you? Ask ChatGPT.
Oh my God. Seriously though.
I got a fucking Twitch stream to run.
Yeah. Well, I would assume you'd have to do it more discussion based. Like, let's talk about this. I don't know. We need some calls, dirtballs. I did not put any on this episode.
I'll tell you who I'm gonna put the call out there. I'm gonna put the call for calls. Where's our hockey correspondent?
Okay, thank you.
There's like 3 games left in the season.
Thank you. I did get a DM about that. Thank you. 310-359-8365. That's the hotline. I did get a DM from a dirtball informing me of the situation because clearly I had no clue. He's like, yo, dude, what's going on? We need to get a hockey update.
I love that dirtballs are as clueless about hockey as we are. So they're like, hey, can we get...
No, this is a dirtball who follows hockey. He
Okay.
said what you say. He's like, there's just a couple games left, man. This is the playoff push.
Yeah.
So Ryan in Saskatchewan.
Let me give Ryan my my hockey update and this is a guy who essentially, I mean, the occasional Sports Center viewing. I'm really not a big Sports Center guy anymore. The occasional Sports Center viewing, the pre and post Mets Knicks game, MSG Sportsnet New York. They'll update you on the Rangers and the Islanders and stuff like that. So here's my hand the Stanley Cup to the Boston Bruins right now. That's as far as I can tell. That's my hockey update. The Boston Bruins are this Bruins team is an elite hockey team all time. They're winning it all. Prove me wrong, I guess. I don't know. That's just me having absolutely no hockey knowledge.
They're really good this year. I just pulled this up. The Bruins have only lost 12 games. Like, they're crushing it.
Yeah.
I love how I've never looked at anything. Like, they're just crushing it. The Vegas Golden Knights good again, huh? I feel like they've been pretty good since the
inception of the team.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they've had some good runs. I think they made the Stanley Cup final the first year. Yeah, so call us, Ryan. Give us a ring. 310-359-8365. That is the hotline. And if anyone has connections to Delonte West, we'd like to set up a new podcast here at Dirty Sports.
We have connections to Delonte West. We have his email. It's in his TikTok bio.
I keep forgetting. What am I writing in that? Dear Mr. West?
Dear Mr. West, are you interested in co-hosting a podcast with Maddie Goldberg?
Hold on. I got a better idea. Sorry, Goldberg. You're already out. West and West. Delonte West and Kanye West. Can you imagine that podcast? West and West.
Who's crazier?
Kanye says some like anti-Semitic things, and Delonte's like, "Who are Jewish people?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"This is gonna be a long episode." That's a great question. Who is crazier? Who? Okay, if you went to a little Mexican, this looks like Delonte West likes Mexican food. If you went to a Mexican restaurant, who's more prone to get you kicked out? I'd say Kanye.
Oh yeah.
Like if you went
Delonte
to
is just the crazy guy in the corner. He's like, I love this horchata.
Kanye's standing on the table.
Like they're annoyed by him, but he means well. He's like, I wrote y'all a horchata jingle, and they're like, yeah, it's great. We like it. He's like, so you want to buy it or what? Now, I would like the Delonte West horchata jingle with a Kanye West beat behind it. I bet you it fucking slaps.
That's your intro song for the West and West podcast.
Yeah.
Poor Goldberg. I just removed him instantly.
I think he could be like the pretty girl on every ESPN show between the two screaming lunatics. It could just be Goldberg.
But would Kanye do that? Goldberg's Jewish.
It's true. Well, Jonah Hill has brought him
I
back around.
forgot.
He's back. He watched 21 Jump Street.
I forgot. He's back. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, follow us on social media at The Dirty Sports across the board.
Follow me at Joe Praino on all social media except for Twitter, where I'm still at Fix Your Life. Please come see a show this coming week. My Monday show. I will not be on the Monday show. I'm not sure how many of you dirtballs are going to make it out to Vegas on a Monday, but Tuesday through Sunday, Comedy Cellar at the Rio in Las Vegas. I will be there for 2 shows every night, 7 and 9:30. After that, Throckmorton Theater in San Rafael, California, in Marin County on the 18th of April. The 19th, I'll be doing Killdozer and some other shows in San Francisco in the city. Then I'm back here. I've got some shows in late April and early May scheduled for Los Angeles and the surrounding areas. Please come to those if you're around. I'll be back in Vegas at the end of May, and then an East Coast trip planned. Guys, keep your eye on my social media. If you're in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, specifically areas, I will be coming there. I'm excited to announce those when the ticket links are officially ready to go. So keep your eye on all my social media or joepraino.com for shows.
Cool. All right. That's our show today. You guys have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday. And as always, stay dirty.